Hey, what's up, guys? It's Blake, and today we're going to be talking about walking bass lines. So, walking bass lines are primarily seen in genres such as jazz and blues, but we can take concepts from them, and even just we can have walking bass lines in other genres such as rock, country, pop, R&B, soul, really any genre that you would be playing. You can use concepts from walking bass lines in your own bass lines for those genres. So, what is a walking bass line? So, a walking bass line is defined by having a quarter note pulse, which just means we're going to play quarter notes through that bass line. So, it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other two important things that it does is it outlines chord progressions and has a lot of motion. So, what it means when we're outlining chord progressions basically means we're trying to create the sound of the chord without specifically playing the entire chord. So we're not going to be playing all these notes simultaneously to get the sound of that chord. So we can do this by using arpeggios. And what arpeggios are is just taking this chord and breaking it up into single notes. So this chord is an F major chord, so we can just play F, A, C, and kind of get the same sound as that chord. And if we want to be crazy and add a seventh to that, make it a dominant chord, F, A, C, E flat, which is what you'll see a lot of times in jazz, as well as other genres of music. But, so we can use these arpeggios to kind of create an outline for this chord and create the sound of the chord without actually playing the whole chord simultaneously. And the other important thing in walking bass lines is that creating motion, like I said before. So we don't want to be jumping around per se. We want to make things sound seamless and sound like they're moving towards one place. So if I just played arpeggio, so if I just did, you kind of hear that jump that happened after I played. So I played the arpeggio, and then I went to another arpeggio, and you kind of heard the shift. And so with walking bass lines, we don't want to hear the shift as much. So what we can do is use these things called chromatic approach notes. And that sounds like a lot bigger word than it actually is. I mean, I guess the word is big, but it sounds a lot scarier than it actually is. All it means is we're using notes above, a half step above or a half step below the note we're trying to get to. So usually we do this whenever we're changing chords. So we'll anticipate the chord by playing a note a half step above it or a half step below it. Something like this. So if I was going from F to B flat, I could do something like, so this is my chromatic approach note. I'm playing a B natural, and that's a half step away from B flat. And that B natural is not in the key of F, so it really doesn't sound that good on its own. But if I did, I resolved it to B flat, it sounds like it really wanted to go there. It sounded like it wanted to move there. So, we can use both of these concepts to create walking bass lines that outline chords and have motion. So I'm going to play an F blues, an F12 bar blues, and you can kind of hear me use arpeggios and chromatic approach notes to kind of create a seamless walking bass line. Here we go. So I use kind of both arpeggios to kind of outline that chord, as I said, and also chromatic approach tones whenever I was changing chords to kind of really show the motion to the next chord, while also creating a seamless line that seems like it flows together. And there's other genres of music that do this kind of walking bass approach as well. So this is I Wish by Stevie Wonder, which the bass line is a walking bass line, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit funkier. It sounds something like this. Yeah, so you can kind of hear that similarity. So it's got that quarter note pulse as well. It's got those chromatic approach notes, and it's also got those outlines of chords. And it's kind of using the same concepts as walking bass, so this is not just exclusive to jazz. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little introduction to walking bass lines, and I hope you got something from it. We'll see you all later.